BJ does.
And then if I might, Madam Chair, I know it was probably said in frustration, but as I indicated to you that I had a number of companies that had gotten back into the business, and one of
This
those
is
integrated textile
absolutely
solutions
amazing.
says
This is the
they'll take the
live
machines
coverage
if you
from the
really want to get rid of
whistleblowers.
them.
And the first guy that
Just
was
let me know.
on, he didn't say
I'll
anything that we didn't
We'll work
already
something
know.
out.
put you all together and y'all can figure it
We'll
out.
work something out.
It
On
wasn't
behalf
very
of all of
eventful,
the
but this
members,
Mr. Bowen,
we
I
want to thank
love this
the
guy.
committee staff
I love
on
this
both
guy.
sides.
I mean, he has
This
put
is,
these people
this is
in
our
their
new
place. I don't care
way
if
of
you're a
operating.
Republican
And
or if you're
as
a
everyone makes
Democrat,
the adjustments,
because
you're
both
doing
of
the
them have
hard
gone
work,
after this guy,
so that we
right?
can
And he's
make the
pushing back
adjustment
on him
to
hard.
make
He's
sure
pushing
that
back on him hard.
the
This is
directives of
great.
the
This is great.
uh,
One of the questions
Capitol
was,
Physician's
why
Office has
is
put
he
out,
not
and I
putting the
can't thank
4
you enough. I
machines
mean,
that he has
I've been
to
watching you,
produce
and I even
these
said to Mike, you didn't have
masks
gloves on.
into
So,
production? And he said, you
thank you
can't
to
just
all of you.
flip
I
a
salute
switch. It
you.
doesn't
And
work like
again,
that.
Mr.
You have
Bowen,
to hire
thank you.
people. You have to
And
train
to the
people.
rest
It
of the
takes about
guests in
3
the
months
room,
for the process to take
thank you.
place.
Maybe
And
some
one
us
of
are gonna
the
go off and
congressmen
have
asked
breakfast
him,
and
he
lunch
said,
combined, something like
what
that.
would
I
we
think
have
we
to
kind of
do
earned our keep today
to
with
get you to make
6
masks
hours
for us? And he said, well, you're going
of
to have to
well
give me a
spent
long-term
time
contract
on
because I have
behalf
to
of the
hire
people
all
of
these
our
people. I have
country.
to
So with
train all
that,
these
the
people. I have
Health
to put these
Subcommittee is
these
adjourned.
machines
Thank you for the
into the
invitation.
production process. And the guy said, so you need a long-term contract before you'll make masks for us. He said, yeah. Right? And the guy said, well, don't get me wrong. I'm in business too. I was an independent pharmacist. He said, well, I'll send you those machines and you can make them because I'm not hiring people just so that I can fire them again. I'll give you a little background. This guy, he made the N95 masks for the Obama administration during the N1H1 pandemic, and he said he lost so much money because they ordered 1 million masks and then cut the contract short, and he lost money. He had to fire people. He had to lay them off because he didn't have enough orders to justify keeping those 4 machines operating. And none of these people understood it. They don't get it. They don't get it. And he's trying to tell them for the last 20 years, he's been telling politician after politician after politician, administration after administration after administration, that all of our PPE, all of our gowns, all of the ventilators need to be made in America. Half of them are made in China, half of them are made in Mexico. And when China entered into this pandemic, they cut off our supply. That's why we didn't have any masks.
The ousted HHS vaccine researcher Rick Bright, Dr. Rick Bright, has been testifying that his early warnings about the threat of COVID-19 were, he says, ignored, and the window is now closing for government action to prevent an even greater crisis.
It was ignored. No, it wasn't ignored.
I believe with proper leadership and collaboration across government, with the best science leading the way, we can devise a comprehensive strategy. Time is running out because the virus is still spreading everywhere. People are getting restless to leave their homes.
When you look at the first 4 months of this year, would you describe the government's and the administration's response as a success or a failure?
I believe we could have done better. I believe there are critical.
Of course we could have done. Of course we could have done better. And again, I'm not giving the Trump administration a pass on this. I'm not giving the Democrats a pass on this. I don't care if you're a Democrat or a Republican. There's this political infighting that's been going on for the last 4 months. We don't need political infighting right now. We need solutions. We need the federal government, whether you're a Democrat or a Republican, to come together and stop it with the funding for Planned Parenthood. Stop it for all of the little gifts that you're writing into all of these bills. And deal with the frickin' pandemic. Deal with that. Stop it with the political infighting. Stop it with the Donald Trump sucks. Stop it with the Democrats suck. Stop it with all of it. Stop it. We need clean bills. We need clean bills. Stop it with the special interests. Stop it with all of the bullshit that's going on right now. And I don't care if YouTube takes this video down for me cussing, because this shit pisses me off. They bring a guy in that makes N95 masks, and they go after him. And he's standing there, he's sitting there trying to tell them, I cannot start these machines until I have the money to hire people, to train them, and get the machines rolling. He can't do it. You just don't snap your fingers. You don't wiggle your nose. You don't blink your eyes. You don't wave a magic wand and have this shit coming off of the presses into a box. It doesn't work like that. And this guy right here, Dr. Bright, he's angry because there's not a vaccine yet. Who can make a vaccine right now? They're working on it. They're working on it. Again, you don't just wave a magic wand and have this stuff being produced and put in a box and shipped to the people that need them. I can't. This frustrates me. This frustrates me. Because you have this anti-Trump coalition. You have a pro-Trump coalition, an anti-Democrat coalition. And they're fighting right now, trying to one-up each other while people are dying. Now, does that mean that we can't open the economy in a responsible way? It doesn't mean that. What it means is we have to be able to get our shit straight. But you cannot do that when you look at everything through a political lens. You cannot do it. You can't do it. It is impossible. One of these days, people are going to get it. One of these days, people are going to understand the stuff that we need to make in America needs to be made in America. All of the textiles that you need to make these masks need to be made in America. All of the drugs that you need to treat the symptoms of this disease need to be made in America. The vaccines need to be made in America. This is one thing that I have been confused about since I was probably in high school. When Bill Clinton came in and said that we need to shut all of these small bases around the country, I didn't understand it. I didn't get it. You put your supply depot on your large bases, Camp Lejeune, Camp Pendleton, all of your little Air Force or all of your little air wing bases and stuff like that. You take all of your supplies and you put all of your supplies on those bases, and the enemy comes along and destroys those bases, and you have no more supply chain. Same thing happening here. Same thing happening here. You send all of your manufacturing over to China, and you get into trouble. And China decides that they don't want to give you the masks, or they don't want to give you the supplies, or they don't want to give you the drugs to treat this stuff. Guess what? People die. People die. And Donald Trump was talking about this 10 years ago. He came into office talking about this stuff. That we need to bring back the idea that things need to be American made. We sent all of our textiles over to China. We sent all of our PPE production over to China. We sent all of our antibiotics and our drug manufacturing over to China. They get into trouble, what happens? Exactly what we saw. Exactly what we saw. China decides they're not going to send it. Ships full of PPE were turned around and sent back to China. And then you bring in this guy who for 20 years has been saying, stop what you're doing. Stop what you're doing. Don't send the manufacturing to personal protective equipment, medical equipment over to China or Mexico. And everybody ignored him. And then you have politicians that have the audacity to ask him, why don't you just start up production? Because it costs money, man. It costs money. You can't wave a magic wand and have stuff flowing into boxes and being shipped out to hospitals. It takes time. It takes money. He has to train people. He has to get the machines, the 4 machines that he's got sitting in a warehouse. They've got to get those reinstalled into the production facility. It takes time. And they're railing against the guy because, well, you have to have a government contract. Yes. Yes, you do. You have to have a government contract. One of these days, we are going to stop it with the Democrat-Republican bullshit. We're going to stop it with the Democrat-Republican bullshit. Donald Trump was saying on January 14th, we've got a problem. On January 14th, he put the task force together and said, we've got a problem. On January 31st, he put the travel restrictions in. This guy right here on your screen, he didn't say anything that was new. We knew everything that he said. Early January, Trump administration wasn't really taking this seriously because the media had gone out and told everybody that it was no worse than the flu. I wouldn't worry about it. Tucker Carlson was the first one to fly down to Mar-a-Lago and tell the President of the United States that this was going to be a problem. Tom Cotton was sitting on the floor telling everybody this is going to be a problem. They called him a fearmonger. Donald Trump takes steps to stop it from coming into China, and the Democrats called him a fearmonger. He put travel restrictions in. They called him a racist and a xenophobe. Joe Biden and Bernie Sanders both called him a xenophobe. And then you want to bring manufacturers. Into a hearing and wonder why he's not making PPE. Because you can't. Unless you have the orders, unless you have the money up front from the government to put the machines back into the production facility, to make sure that you don't have to lay off employees when the pandemic is over. When you don't have to struggle to survive again, there's no way that you will be able to make masks. Until the federal government realizes the mistake that they made in sending manufacturing over to China and down to Mexico. And I think the people in that committee got it. Because he got them. He got them. Every time they started getting pissy with him, he shot back. Every time he heard them wondering why he wasn't doing more to help the American people, he shot back. I love this guy. Bowen guy. Love him. Love him. He absolutely trashed this committee. And they were apologizing to him because they came into it hostile and realized that this guy wasn't going to take it. You cannot expect manufacturers in this country. The media has been going crazy. There's not enough PPE. There's not enough gowns. There's not enough ventilators. There's not enough IPAPs and CPAPs. Okay. Elon Musk shut down a Tesla facility to make CPAP and IPAP machines, and the media went after him. The media went after him. They didn't appreciate what he had done. And Elon Musk he's suffering as a result of that, because the media tried to smear him. The media tried to smear this Bowen guy too. It didn't work. NBC wrote a hit piece on him because he wasn't making PPE for the government. Why? Because they never asked him to. Because they wouldn't give him a contract. And then they have the nerve to pull this guy into a hearing and rail him for not making PPE for them. He can't. It doesn't work like that. I don't know, man. I don't know. We're going to have to stop it with the Democrat-Republican bullshit for right now. We're going to have to stop it with this notion that the orange man is always bad. Biden does no wrong, because this is the guy that called Donald Trump a xenophobe for trying to save lives. Stop it with the political bullshit. I get it. You don't like Donald Trump. I don't like everything he does either. I have problems with some of his policies. It's kind of a douchebag. Great thing about it is that he never denied being a douchebag. And here's the problem with this last election, right? It's the old South Park idea that every election is the choice between a shit sandwich and a douchebag. Well, guess what? In this election, we actually got a shit sandwich and a douchebag. So who are you going to vote for? This election coming up, it's the choice between a douchebag and a guy that should be on a hover round, in the store running into the frickin' racks. The man is senile. You get that, right? He's senile. Now I'm going to do another segment today, and it's going to be a lot of fun, because Joe Biden is giving a live talk. He's giving a live talk, and he's going to have Governor Whitmer on, talking about the inadequacies of the Donald Trump's response to coronavirus. This is going to be a lot of fun. I'm gonna have a meltdown. I'm stuck in the house. Gonna have a meltdown. I'm stuck in the house. Can't do nothing. I might go out for about 15 minutes to go to the store. Been drinking a lot, been eating a lot, and I've been smoking a lot of cigarettes, because this shit has just about pissed me off. We need to get our heads out of our asses. And that's all I have to say about that. That's my rant for today. We're going to have some fun. We're going to have Joe Biden's live cast. And I'm going to be doing a little bit of commentary on that. So stick around. If you like my work, like, subscribe. Sorry about the cussing, but fuck, this shit pisses me off. This guy, Mr. Bright, you didn't say anything we didn't know. You want to come in, you want to blame it all on Trump. Fine, whatever. But this was administration after administration after administration failing. You want to say that Donald Trump didn't do enough? Fine. But neither did Nancy Pelosi. Neither did Joe Biden. Neither did Bernie Sanders. They went on, told him he was trying to be a dictator, called him a xenophobe, and then decided they were going to go party in Chinatown just to spite him. We fell down. But it was everybody's failure. It was everybody's failure. For the last 20 years, it was everybody's failure. Don't try to blame it on one person. Because here we are. Here we are. Our economy's in the toilet. We have this nasty virus spreading across the country, and everybody's scared. So instead of making people feel better about the situation and telling people that it's going to be okay, you have Democrats, you have Republicans, you have political operatives running out there and saying, look, it's all Donald Trump's fault. No, it was everybody's fault. It was everybody's fault. My blood pressure's up. I'm gonna have to go drink a beer. Y'all have a good day. I'll be watching Joe Biden's little deal at 3:30. If you can make it, it's at joebiden.com/live, and it's going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be a lot of fun watching this completely ridiculous, good God, Governor Whitmer. That woman actually banned a potentially life-saving drug just to spite Donald Trump. And come on, who does that? Who does that? All right, I'm out of here. Like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, and we'll see y'all later.